tonight's anime we're going to be talking about is Kaiju number 8 season 2, and I am so glad my baby is also back. I've gotten a lot of good anime coming back to me, and I am very happy. Now, at the time of... Jesus Christ. Now, at the time of the recording, I think for Kaiju number 8, there's only been like one episode out, so there's not really much for us to talk about. But, I mean, like, there's a lot that I could say, but I've also read the manga up to this point, so it's interesting to see, like, sad, I don't know what else, because I'm not super surprised by anything. But the season is starting off with all the particular members of the 3rd Division going off to different divisions while the 3rd is being rebuilt, while Mina and Hoshido, Mina and Hoshido are both staying back to do their own training, and, you know, Hoshido is going to get some crazy shit, but that's going to be a later episode to discuss. Obviously, there's other members to talk about, but remember from this portion, a lot of this is going to be featured on, oh my god, I forgot their names. It was Kafka's friend, and then the dude with, like, the shark teeth, he had, like, the orange hair, who was paired up with him, who they're going, I forget which division they're getting sent to, but they're going to have their little training arc, and then Shinomiya is going to Division 1, and Kafka's also going to be part of Division 1, so they'll have a lot of their training, and Kafka's going to be tested over in Division 1. And I'm pretty sure from what I remember, Division 1 is going to be the main focus for this season, in which, to be fair, Kafka's part of it, and Shinomiya is part of it, so it makes sense why that, but Kafka's little friend and his pairing as well is also going to be talked about, and we'll see development from them. And I think for the most part, overall, I still have, not a complaint, but it's still the comment that I have about how the anime Kaiju number 8 is handling the material versus the manga, where the manga was treated a bit more seriously with gags put in like intermittently in order to break the tension that was around. But there was still a lot of tension, there was still a lot of seriousness, it was still a lot more grounded in the seriousness of the series versus the anime, which it has a lot more of that comedic part and uses the tension part to break up the comedy somewhat, making the tensions part, the tenuous parts pop a lot more, and the serious parts do pop off a lot more. But again, it's a complaint that I've seen time and time again with the Kaiju number 8 series, and I think season 2 is going to replicate that same thing. Now, personally, I'm someone who is okay with the comedic bits. I think it helps distinguish itself from the manga, and it's a reason to actually watch the anime if you're okay with that, because there still was a good amount of comedy that was happening in the manga for Kaiju number 8, but there was a lot more tension, there was a lot more seriousness versus the anime, like I said before, which is doing the exact opposite. There's a lot more comedy with a lot less tension. And so far, like I said, that hasn't been a complaint of mine. I think the only time it will be a complaint is depending on how they deal with future scenes. Now, I will admit, I don't know if we'll get that far this season. We should, because that feels like the natural end that I feel like season 2 would come out. Like, if we're sticking to the 12 episode format, I feel like the 12 episodes should end with the big thing that happens. And you'll know when the big thing happens because it'll be a big thing that happens. But I think we'll get to that point, and I think that's when I'll really determine it, because I think they did really good with the season finale for season 1, how they handled that, how they handled Kafka being founded out, and how Division 3 still stood by Kafka, and Mina and Kafka's first proper talk, like seriously, and her hoping that Kafka comes back and realizing, yeah, you're a kaiju, but also I can tell that you're still Kafka. Even if you're this, kaiju that we've all feared for society for God knows how long, you're still Kafka. So I'm wondering how they're going to do that with something that feels a bit more serious down the line. Now, I know I just said I have no problem with the way that they changed the comedic and serious tone switch. I think the only time I could see it truly actually being a problem is with the 1st Division captain. He is definitely a lot more goofy than he is. Like, in the manga, he's definitely shown as like a dude who, like you said before, he doesn't care about anything else other than straight to results. And I think it helps where there is this character that is comedic, but he is far more serious in the manga. Like, he's still that goofy side, but when he gets serious, it's like a tonal shift. It's like that. Sorry, I didn't snap very good. But it's like that, where he could be like aloof and whatever, but when he's like talking serious to somebody, or it's someone that really needs to be punished, it's like hey, no, I'm serious now. This needs to stop, and you need to stop. Like, that's the level of switch that we're talking about. And I didn't really feel that here. It just kind of felt more like they leaned to the aloof part of him, where even when he's talking with Kafka at the end of episode 1, he's just like, yeah, go ahead. It's like, just so you know, it's like I don't really want to deal with this. It's whatever, like yada yada yada. And even when he's talking to Shinomiya sometimes, where it's like, I don't care about results, they play him more as aloof and not caring, and that kind of bugs me a little bit. I still enjoy him, but I also enjoyed him more in the manga, where he had that switch. Now he's just more aloof, and I don't think the character kind of really works, because it kind of puts everything everyone else has been that is working with the Defense Force kind of to shame. Like, it kind of just makes a mockery of it in a sense, versus this guy who is like, oh no, he's chill because he's strong, but when he wants to get serious, he is. He's not like defaming anything and stuff like that. He's just that type of guy. That's just his personality, but he does care. Versus this version of him, it doesn't seem like he really cares, and it kind of sucks. It kind of sucks now that I think about it. But realistically, that's the only time I've ever had that issue. Everything else I think has been perfectly fine. The first division captain is the only time I've ever had that issue. So I'm hoping maybe, again, once we get later down the line, we see that switch more. We see that, like, they tone down the aloofness a little bit. But honestly, I mean, it's Kaiju number 8, man. I get to have my baby back. Everything that's animated has been pretty accurate so far, except for like the tonal shift. But honestly, everything's been pretty good. And I will admit, I didn't watch the Hoshino's Day Off. It is there if you want to watch it. It's not technically official for like the season. It is like an extra bonus episode. But I did read it in the manga. It was nice. It was cool. It was fun. It more deals with like the characters and like their development and all that. But I didn't watch it for this. It's because I read the manga. It's fine. It's whatever. But if you do, I highly recommend it. If you haven't watched the anime, if you haven't read the manga, I do highly recommend you go ahead and you watch that extra episode, because it is fun and it does help with a lot of context.